All right, so I'm going to introduce Ariel, and I'm going to just share a little bit of how I got to meet him. And I do have to thank Benita Sonnabend, who had watched his presentation or some of it when he spoke to Congregation Beth Tefillah here in Phoenix. And for those of you who don't know Ariel, I did not. Um, his connection to the Valley really, in addition to business, is really through Rabbi Pinchas Alush of Congregation Beth Tefillah. So what I'm going to just share is a little bit about Ariel, and he will share a little bit more about himself or whatever he feels that I missed. So Ariel Picker was born in Mexico. I'm reading actually a bio from Rabbi Alush, where he currently resides with his wife Vicky and 3 children. He's the president and founder of the Seguritech Group, one of Mexico's largest security companies. But really, his connection to the Valley in the sense of commerce and businesses, if you are familiar with the Mesa Skybridge, Arizona, Ariel is the CEO of that. They're developing the Skybridge, Arizona Aerospace Park, which includes customs, offices, hotels, and restaurants at the Phoenix Mesa Gateway Airport. And so in that aspect, I was joking earlier how Ariel is really involved in the border wall of Arizona and Mexico in the sense of opening it up for commerce. If I understand correctly, that project has a U.S. and a Mexican customs on site. So products that are leaving the United States or coming in can all work in one center. It just causes a seamless transition. And as you know, I think Mexico is the largest for Arizona, is our largest trade partner. I'm not sure for the United States. But with that in mind, I'm going to turn over the mic to Ariel, who's going to share his story, a story of his struggle, a story that happened to him, a personal story that he'll share how it changed him, how it affected his life, and what we can take from that story. So without any further introduction, thank you, Ariel, for joining us today, and I appreciate it. I know everyone else here as well does.
Oh, thank you, Rob. Thank you for the introduction. First of all, I'll present myself again. I'm Ariel Picker. I'm married to my wife, Vicky. I have 3 kids. One is 18, the oldest. His name is Alan. I have another kid who's 16. His name is Uri. And my little daughter, which she's turning today 14. So we live in Mexico City most of our time and in Miami, and we move back and forward. And I also go very often to Phoenix. I have some business that is happening there for the last 4 years, and I really like very much to go there. And as Levi said, I have a very close relation with Rabbi Lush because I met through these years, and well, I'm very much engaged in my spiritual phase with his congregation for the last years, and really happy to be with all of you today. Uh, I was requested by the Rab Alush about 2 weeks ago or 3, something like that. He knows our family very well, as I said, for the last 4 years, and he knows about a story of myself that he wanted to share to his Zoom congregation regarding what to expect when we struggle with things in life that are hard and that attend our security and our health, and things they don't look very well. And finally, having faith and having there exists some miracles, and also positive attitude. How can this take us to the next level in life? So he asked me to share a story that he knew very well about me. And after I had the opportunity to meet Levi, and he asked me if I could share with you a little bit of that story and the spirit behind it. And I will say I'm not a speaker. This is the second time I talk in my life about this issue. The first one was 2 weeks ago, and because the rap was very insist with that, and when Levi told me who were going to listen to me, I couldn't resist of just sharing. So what I'm going to tell you is just on the way I see things, and there is nothing behind that is prepared. So if anybody has a question, I'll be really happy to share with that. And the thing about this story is not the story about a third person, is my personal life. So I'll try to be very short on the background, but this will make you get the sense what happened. In year, in it was 10 of July, no, 11 of July 2010. So this year it's going to be 10 years. So what happened 11 of July 2010, I'm a pilot by hobby. I like very much to fly since I was a kid. And I had a small plane in a house that we have about 2 hours away from Mexico City, where it's a beautiful lake. It's called Valle de Bravo, if someone knows about that place. So over there was a very nice, I have a house, and every weekend I go there. There's a small airport, and I had a small plane, and I was taking to fly myself and my kids and friends to see this beautiful lake from the heights. So that day I took my daughter, which was back then 4 years old, and one friend that came from visit the this out of the country, and so we decided to go and have this beautiful trip. We took. I first was taking him, but my daughter started crying and crying. Something was very strange with her, that she wanted to fly with me before. So after arguing with her, if yes, no, uh, my friend said, "Take your daughter, and then you take me." So I did that. I was upset with her. I said, "Why you were crying?" She said, "I want to fly with you, Dad." Okay, let's fly together. After beautiful flight, 40 minutes, we landed. We had a beautiful experience together. I took my friend into the plane. So we took off again. Uh, After a minute of taking out on the plane started to behave in a bad manner. I found out that I lost the engine, and things starting to struggle up there. So I had to find a place where to land, and this place it's a place full of trees. So I just could find a small place where I did my best effort to land, and I'll show you a picture. This is the result of what happened that day. So we crashed. Can you see it? I think you can see. And I think this is the cabin where I was inside the plane with my friend. Uh, so what happened is I had no option to land, no engine, malfunctions all over, and immediately we found this small place, but we did not land as soft as I expected, and we crashed. Uh, he got injured, but very little. He got injured on his rib, but he was able to walk out without many scratches. Myself, I lost consciousness because I hit myself with the controls of the plane, uh, and the plane started on fire. He left because he was afraid of the fire and he thought I was dead. I was full of cover of blood, and I was asleep with your eyes open. So when you lose consciousness, it's not that you close your eyes and you sleep. So he thought I was dead. And a couple of minutes after the fire started and I was inside this plane, as you saw, three men that came from nowhere, that they were taking some horses to feed them, appeared. And what they did is they, without asking anything, they got into the plane. They untied me from my belt. They untied it from all this metal, and they took me out. When they took me out, the plane exploded. And with the expansion, I woke up. I found I was covered by these three men. And immediately I took consciousness that I just had this accident. I found that my hand, my right hand, I don't know if you can see, but it was all broken. It was on two pieces. I lost my foot. My foot was broken totally, had an exposed bones, and I couldn't walk. I had a very strong pain on my back, and I found that probably had a broken spine. And so I took with what I could, my hand, my cell phone, and I asked and I called first my wife to tell her I had this accident, and then I called the emergency services, which I knew very well who to contact because I'm on that business. About 30 minutes later, a helicopter arrived to this place, and they took me to the hospital with my friend. Fortunately, my daughter, who saw everything on ground, nothing happened to her, and my wife, a couple of minutes to pick her up and took her with her to whatever was to with her back to Mexico. So that's where the story begins. It's it was something that in a second my life was changed. I never expected that it was I was gonna lose my health in 1 second. Probably I was gonna die, and I didn't know what was happening. It was so fast, everything. The next thing I found was that I got to the hospital and I talked to the doctor and I said, "Doctor, what is it?" And he said, "You are very much on a uh, very hurt." I'm trying to translate the right word. Uh, we don't know if you're going to resist this, but we will do our best for it. So I said, "Listen, you're the doctor. My family is outside. I'm going to surgery. We don't know how much surgery I'm going to need. We don't know yet, but if you're going to get into to me and you need any to ask any question, don't ask my family because I don't want them the responsibility of them of taking decisions on this difficult issue. You're the doctor. I give you all the power to take whatever decision you have to make. And if you do it right, you're a great doctor, and that was your responsibility. And if you do it wrong, it's my responsibility. I don't want you to go ask outside a couple of times to what to do." So I got into surgery. For the first time, I was about 16 hours in surgery. Then I got out, and the next thing I found out was what happened. So I had a broken hand, I had a broken leg with that I was separated with my bones exposed. That was there. I had a my spine was broken in two pieces in two different areas, so I couldn't walk. Uh, so and I had some concussions on my head. I lost my memory on the short term, and suddenly I faced myself of being someone that lost everything. From being a father, taking care of the family, now the family was taking care of me. Of being the business leader in the company, now I was the result of whatever is going to happen. And of being a husband, now I was someone to be taken care of. My wife turning from being a wife, she now turns to be a nurse. So my life was totally destroyed. And I was really frustrated that this happened to me. The next, every day I had a surgery. I went through more than 12 surgeries, one day and the other, and the other, and the other, cleaning it, fixing it, doing many things on my spine, on my leg, on my arm. So I decided that it was too much for me. It was too painful. It was too painful to see what was happening surrounding, and losing my memory was worse pain than anything because I couldn't even read a book. I couldn't see a movie because after 5 minutes I forgot what I was doing there. And if someone came to visit me, I was happy to talk to him because I could remember the past, but not the short term. So I couldn't follow a conversation, and I And I understood that was happening, and I started getting really desperate because I couldn't follow anything. It was terrible. To lose your memory is something terrible. So I decided I was not willing to live anymore. So I decided that I want to die. I stopped eating. I stopped talking. I stopped. I didn't want anymore. That was too much pain, and the pain was really bad. And the diagnosis was I was not going to walk again. I was going to be a paralytic, and I didn't like that as my life. Suddenly, my life was too bad. So I said, I'll choose the easiest way. So I decided I was not going to live anymore. So the first thing I did is I stopped reading. I don't know if someone has tried it ever. Don't do it. It's not fun. But I found that stop breathing, you cannot die because after a couple of minutes, 1 or 2 minutes, you breathe again. And then, so I stopped eating, but I was with infusion. I was, so I stopped talking, and I was really depressed on my situation. After a week being there, things were worse. So they came with me and they said that I had an infection on my bones. So now, no matter if I could walk or not, they had to cut my foot. And that was the easiest way. So I said, do whatever you want. I don't care. And they said, we will do a couple more surgeries to clean around to see if we can save your foot. Okay, let's try to save it. I don't want to lose it. I don't want to be, amputated. So things keep on getting worse and worse. It's like when you fall from a, it's like when you fall from a building. When I crashed with the plane, I was still falling. I was probably in floor number 5. And when they told me that I was not on a walk, I was on floor 2. When they said that I was going to amputate, I hit the floor, but I still getting worse and worse. Things were not getting improved better. And there was no signs of getting a better situation on the short term. And so I didn't want to keep on living. I said, whatever happens, it is, uh, forget about it. Uh, so it was really depressed. My mother, who was taking care of me with my wife and my family, were cheering me up. Come on, you should, all of us knows what is that, trying to cheer you up. Come on, you have to fight for it. But when you see all this, you say, what should I fight for? This is really bad. This is not the life I wish my life will be like. Unfortunately, I had no choice. I never thought about it. I never had the choice. I was really upset even with God. I said, God, what did I did wrong? What is why I deserve so much pain? It was so easy. If you want to take me away, you should have I should have died. Why should you keep me alive? This is not fair. It's so much pain. My family, me, I don't like it. So I was not doing also anything to improve better. I was just I decide not to keep fighting anymore. So whatever it is, it is. And it was really depressed for everybody to see me that way. Uh, so about a week and a half or 2, I don't remember very well, after my accident, being in the hospital. All this time I've been in the hospital in ICU and then in going back and forward. And uh, there is a one day I asked for a mirror to see myself after the accident. I was burned also. I was burned here. I was burned my hands. You can see probably the colors, different colors. My leg was burned. My body was burned, and I wanted to see my face after, and being burned also. And so I asked for a mirror. I started looking to the mirror, and I see me totally destroyed. And my eye here was with a huge bruise. And this was because when I lost consciousness, it was because I hit in the control panel. There is an instrument that it's called the attitude instrument. I don't know if you know what is it, but in many times when you are looking to a plane or a movie, all of us have seen that. is that instrument that is in the top is brown and in under is blue, and it shows where the plane goes, if it goes up or down. And it's called the attitude instrument. So that's where the pilot knows if the nose of the plane is going up or going down if he's not able to look through the window or if you're on a cloud. It's the most important instrument on a plane to know where you're heading. And that instrument hit me on my eye, and I was really upset that also my eye was a big ball, and and it was interesting because the instrument has like a nut, and the nut hit me right here, so I had a broken piece here because of the nut. So I know it was the attitude instrument. So I was thinking about that instrument, and I was, God, I don't own anything. So you took, or some, they took my health in a second. My business is over because of this. I cannot control anymore. My family is my family. They're here because they want, but I cannot control if tomorrow they get tired of this. So I don't own anything in my life. Why should I keep on fighting for the next day? And suddenly I was looking to the mirror with those thoughts, and even I have my face broken with this knot of the attitude instrument. So finally I found something. I said, that's the answer. The only thing that it's left for me, and that's why I hit it here, is my attitude. That's mine. It was a coincidence I hit with an attitude instrument, but that's the answer. The only thing that it's left for me is my attitude. I cannot control my health. I cannot control my security. I cannot control anything in life because I depend on third parties for everything. The only thing I have that I can control today, being on a bed without being able to move both hands, without being able to move my legs, without even controlling the infections, my memory. I have one thing that it's left, but it's mine. And this nobody's going to take away from me. And it's my attitude. So I decide that because I have my attitude left, I'm going to fight for the right attitude. So I decide that no matter what happened in life, I was not going to be a victim. I was not going to be someone that people will be ashamed of. I decided that I was going to fight for my life. I was going to fight for a smile of my kids, remembering me with a good name, my Shem Tov. So that moment, I asked for a shaving machine. I shaved myself. I knew I was not going to walk. I knew I had no one hand, the other one was working more or less. But I decided I was going to have a good attitude. So I start working on myself every single day to keep tight to my attitude, to be close to myself, and to always push forward. So I decide to go to the next surgeries with a good attitude. When they bring, I ask for food. I start doing my exercise because I said the attitude is mine. Nobody is going to take my attitude away from me. So things start improving. Incredible. So I start pushing. So after a month, I left the hospital with a wheelchair. Uh, the infection started going away. No matter I had a catheter for about a year to get all these antibiotics and whatever, but I got in a wheelchair. They did not amputate me. Then I started walking with a special machine, and without being able to walk right, I got into a triathlon. I started swimming, and I got a very good attitude. So things started improving. But probably all of you who've been in life for many more years than I knows that sometimes you get tired of a positive attitude. How much time can you be positive? How much time can you start thinking in the next process, in the next process? So, pain is pain. So I developed a very strong pain over arthritis on my hands, on my leg, on my spine, on my neck, all over because of all of what I had. And I was, I know I need to get a good attitude, but what's the right attitude? What is the right attitude? I cannot be always happy. It's not fair. Even planes, the attitude, the positive to go up, but sometimes you need to go down to refuel yourself. So I start to understand that positive attitude was not the right attitude at all. It was a very good attitude, but that was not the answer. So many years passed by, and one day I was with my wife on a trip, and I was always like, when I get tired, I cannot walk long ranges. I get tired. I'm still struggling with all of this, and things that because of this problem, I get tired. And I told her many times, you know, I need to find which is the right attitude because to be always positive is not real. You cannot be always in a positive attitude. And you don't want to be in a negative attitude and you don't want to be no caring. I'm getting tired and I need to find my at the right attitude, which I should hold to it and not let it go. And she came with the answer. And she said, you know something, the end, you were missing two letters. And we started talking and we found that the answer was in two letters. Two letters I was missing for years and was a G and an R. And just put it in front of the word attitude is gratitude. That's the answer. The answer is the right attitude is the gratitude. So if you are with gratitude to whatever you do in life, if you live with gratitude, I can assure you that you will find peace and you will be happy, which is what I'm looking for in my life every day. And I was surprised that this is something that, at least in our religion, is being written for more than 5,000 years. And it was right in front of my eyes and I couldn't find it. It took me that much. All our prayers are based on gratitude, isn't it, Rob? All our prayers are gratitude. We give thanks to God. Well, the first one that we do every morning is Modani lefanecha melchai v'kayam. We give God thanks to be alive. We could not be here. We could be in a lot of other issues, but we're here. We're here to listen, to talk one to the other. So, and then I found I have a family. I should be gratitude for that. That I have my daughter, my kids, my wife, my mother, my father. This is big stuff. So I should be happy for it. It was just to put attention to be gratitude in life. And this has been already for a couple of years. And my life was changed. It's a pain to learn from my own experience. I learned that there are two types of people, the intelligent and the dumbs. The, the dumbs, like myself, you learn from your own experience, unfortunately. The intelligence, learn from others. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. Be gratitude. At, hold the how do you say, like, hold the gratefulness of being here. Look to your around, everybody. Look to the sun. We could not have it. With all these pandemic issues, we are saying, why? We're here, no matter why. The why will come out and we will solve it one more time. Things could be much worse, but we're here And this is good enough, is excellent. Let's be gratitude with the life. Let's be gratitude for everything. Let's live with gratitude. This is what I learned for myself. If someone wants to learn from that, I can tell you, on my experience, is the most important thing ever happened to me. I'll finish just by telling a story of a miracle. But I need to connect my computer 1 second because it's telling me I'm going to lose connection in 1 second. 1 minute.
Oh, we're here.
Yes, it's 1 second. I'm just putting my plug into it. It's telling me I'm going to lose it in a minute.
I am grateful I'm here listening to this marvelous story.
I'm connected. Sorry about it. It took me a second, but I didn't thought it was going to take so long. So what happened is, now I'm going to tell you a story about a miracle behind all of this. And this is to show that attitude and gratitude, we should never forget. Well, I'm going to talk on my side. I'm not nobody to tell you. I hope I'm just like you. On my experience, I found that attitude and gratitude and what happens in life, they are not coincidence. They're Godcidence. So things are not for free or just like that. And this is a word I repeat a lot. I believe in Godcidences, not coincidences, which is different. The coincidences is because of God. The coincidence is because of God. So 7 years after my accident, my middle son had his bar mitzvah. And I was really, really involved with that. My son was really much involved with that. And the professor who was showing him to read his parasha wanted to give to me and my wife a present. That is, my son will pray for us a week before his bar mitzvah in private, so we can listen him without being worried of attending others, as a parents in the party, whatever. So the parasha that was my son was going to read, they invite us to the temple, to the synagogue, and my son was reading it to us loud and clear. We just need to remember, and Rob, you can please confirm this. Parasha is not a read that you choose. Is the read that is because of your birth date.
Correct.
It's not a coincidence. It's what since you were born, that parasha is going to be your reading on your 13 years old, because it's the day you put your tefillin, which is the immediate day after you turn 13, when you are born in the Jewish calendar, right? And the next one is the one you have to read, right, Rob?
Correct.
So my son parasha is called Haye Sarah. I will never forget. And Haye Sarah, he started reading, and I'm not very good at Hebrew, so I got a sidur that it's in Spanish, and by the way, it was in English and in Hebrew, so I was reading in English the explanation of the parasha. And Rob can help me with the parasha, but the parasha is when the three angels got to see Sarah to tell her that she was pregnant and she was going to have a kid. This kid was Yitzhak, right? And the parasha starts saying that God sent three angels to see Sarah to give her this news, to do a miracle, because she was 100, I think so, right, Rob? She was 89, I think, or 87.
When she was having a baby, she was 90.
She was 90, so it's a miracle, I think. And Abraham was 120, if I don't remember, something like that. So the explanation is that God, when sends angels to the earth, he always sends three. It's not one. So he So I started getting really nervous about it. Why? Because I found out that when they got me, I started remembering that when they got me out of the plane, you remember the picture that I show you with all this fire? It was not one, it was not two, there were three. I said, what a coincidence. Three got me out of the fire for 1 minute. I was going to be a roasted chicken. And they got me out of the fire. Wow, three. I keep reading the parasha. So I said, this is a miracle of God. Someone got me out of, and these three people were just walking there, were shepherds. Wow, what a coincidence. Nobody asked them to get me out. When they got me out of the plane, they never asked for anything. And I'll tell you, when I saw them after the crash, what they said, but before that, I'll finish with the parasha. So I asked this guy, so I kept reading, and I was really surprised at the three angels. And do you remember the name of the angels? One was Gabriel, from Geburah, from the strength. The other one was Rafael, that is for health, from Refuah. And the third one was Michael. Well, was the first one. Michael was the one that got to Sarah and told her she was going to get pregnant, right? He was the leader. Okay. Any of you know some Mexicans in your life? What is the common name of a Mexican? Juan, Pedro, Jacinto. Can you all believe that the person that got me out of the plane, his name is Michael? I couldn't believe it myself. And it's a true story. And it's not story of a third party. I'm telling you this story because of me. And there is a mitzvah that is talking about the greatness of God, right? So I'll do this as a mitzvah also to share you this story. So the person who took me out of the plane, his name is Michael. It's incredible. It's very strange, at least. So the only thing missing is to tell you one thing that Michael told me. After 3 months, I got out of the hospital. I went on my wheelchair with my parents and my wife and my kids. I found these shepherds where they lived, and I went to say thank you and to offer to pay something if it was needed. So I got there, I met them, very poor people and very clear people, beautiful people. And I asked them, the three of them, you saw this fire, you saw all of these things. Why did you got into the fire? Why did you took the risk of dying to take me out of there, risking your life? Why did you do that? And he answered with 2 words. I never expected, and more than enough. 2 words. To give you a whole answer, what do they see? How do they get in? How do they get out? They could talk about themselves. I asked him, why you took the risk and you got into it? And he said, why not? Why not? That's the beauty of a person. Why not? We think people are not good. The answer is most of the people are good, very good. They risk their lives. Why not? Because they knew they were saving someone. And this is life. That's the beauty. So we should be grateful. Why not? Let's enjoy life. Let's have a great life. And at least this is my thoughts. And to share with you, I hope any question, I hope everybody has, we say in Spanish, bendiciones. How do you translate it? Blessings to everybody. And if I can do anything for anybody, why not? Let's do it. Let's start today to do things. Why not?
All right, Ariel, first of all, thank you so much for sharing your story. I know that reliving a story that was a trauma is never easy, and I know how much we appreciate that. And I know everyone here loves your messages as well, but they're so timely. Number one is, like you said, everyone's home alone. we look at this pandemic as a terrible thing, and we have to have that gratitude. The altitude meter has to be pointing up. And number two, I think the why not is so you see the protests going on around America and now around the world. We just have to be kind because, not because of any other reason, and looking at skin color or not. So I think it's such a beautiful and powerful message anytime, but even more today. So thank you. I do have a couple questions that came in already on the chat, and someone might have questions for you, but some of these are not necessarily questions about your story. So before I ask questions about some of its career, but one question was, how old are you now?
I'm 46.
46. So you were 36 when it happened.
I was 36.
Okay, so that was one question. But before I ask the questions that they asked, because the questions I got privately were more about how you ended up in Phoenix type of a thing, business-wise. So I think if anyone has a question specifically about the story, and please either unmute your mic or definitely write it in the chat. And if not, I'll ask the questions that were asked in the chat.
I have a question.
There you go, Lori. Go ahead.
Was the most difficult part when you said the pain of it? Was it more the emotional part and the memory and not being able to more that than the physical part?
Yes. So what I found was that the physical pain, you can get used to it. And because I didn't want to take any painkillers until today, because I want to be in control. I'm a freak guy that likes to control everything, right? So, but at the end, if you take a pill, you get the pain out. But losing my memory was terrible. I was getting crazy. I was getting crazy. I couldn't. I felt I was losing everything. I could not have a conversation. I was getting bored because of that. I was getting upset. It was very difficult for myself. And also I found out that for keeping my memory and recovering, which is 100% recover and more than that, was also a work on my side. And that's the nice part about it. The hard part is I couldn't resist of losing my memory, but I was getting very stressed and I was not enjoying it at all. But then when I got all these, how do you call, process to get it back, doing sudokus and doing some puzzles and, you know, working with it and getting the right doctor behind that was a great thing for me to recover from that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions regarding the story? So while if someone does have a question, I'll ask you, this was obviously because of the bio where you have business in Arizona. So one of the questions was, how did you end up in Arizona? How did you find this development for Skybridge? And how did you get that project?
Oh, so the project was an international bid. I'm a developer. One of my businesses to do developers, and as I said, I'm a pilot. So I'm very much involved in airports in Mexico and other parts of the world. So the Mesa airport, you know, it was a air base. In year 2000 was shot by the government, and in year 2016 was bid to be developed to make a commercial and buildings and things like that around it. So we bid as a company there were 18 bids, and through that process we won it, and we are now in the process of developing. So now we have there developed at this moment 2 buildings out of 38, if I might remember. But we're doing a nice work over there. If you go by, you will see those new buildings.
Nice. Question that someone asked regarding your story. Are you still flying? Like, did that cause you to quit? How fast
Of
did you get back
course,
how fast did you get back into a cockpit?
I flew before I walked. That's the answer. So, uh,
Wow.
my wife says that I don't have blood on my veins. I have air on my veins. So, before I could even walk, I went on my wheelchair to the airport and I got into a plane because I don't need legs to fly. You need to use your hands, and with a little bit of help, you can use your legs under, push the pedals. And so before I even walked, I flew and I start flying again. And I fly every week. Wherever I go to business, I fly myself for myself. And I love flying. I
Wow.
love to be up there. That's my paradise.
So here's another question. That based off your story, you found faith. So someone asked me, did you have that? Do you have faith in your background? Meaning, did you grow up traditional, family,
Yes.
education wise?
My faith is not more than before. I grew up in a very traditional Jewish family, and we're very traditional since then. It's just a matter of feeling more close to life. My personal experience is I never doubt about my religion, about to be gratitude, the type of person the family I'm gratitude of the family I was born into. I don't believe in luck. It's an interesting thing about myself. I think that everybody gets what they work for. But there is only one luck in life, one moment of luck. The rest you have to build yourself. And probably God is working with you. But the only luck that I believe in is the family you be born into. So besides that, I think we should always be thankful to God and to work to get luck. The luck starts at 5 in the morning if you want to have luck in your business. Be the first one to get your piece of luck. So people that they don't wake up very early, probably they're not as lucky as others. But being born in a Jew family, traditions, and I'm really grateful of that.
By the way, there's a book. I don't remember the title that says "Successful Business People Wake Up Early."
Agree. Agree 100%. Also, family people. You have to wake up early to take care of your family with the ejemplo. How do you say? With example.
Nice. Any other questions? Oh, so someone's asking privately. What did you grow up in the Spanish English congregation in Palacio? Or what? They're asking what they lived in Mexico City, this person. So they're wondering what Beth Knesset. They said congregation is like Beth Knesset.
I go to the congregation. I'm a part of the Keilah Ashkenazi, and I go to Ramat Shalom.
All right. I'm sure that answers for her. All right. So any last questions? If not, Ariel is obviously a very busy guy, and we really appreciate your time that you've given to us. I see, Laura, you've unmuted. You had another question?
Yeah, I just wanted to, I'm taking everything in that you said, and it seems so very simple, your attitude and then gratitude. But it seems like that you would need more than that to have come through what you came through.
It's a tough comment. And the answer is yes. What you're saying is totally true. But let's keep it simple. Let's forget about the other things that are not as powerful as these two. Let's have a positive attitude and let's be grateful to. The rest is part of the work. But if you take these two in consideration in every thought you have or in every problem, the rest is going to be part of the work. And I'm sure, at least this is my thought, that anybody can get the right answer and will do the right things with a positive attitude and being grateful to whatever is that moment or that situation.
Thank you. I have one last question for you, but it's really not relevant to this. It's more on the, I guess, political climate. As Mexican and as Jewish, two reasons to be discriminated in the United States. Have you ever experienced that, or do you experience that?
Not at all. Zero. The opposite. I love well, I'm a US citizen and a Mexican citizen. I don't have that issue, but my accent doesn't help me, so people will know that my legal situation. But as a Mexican and as a Jew, I'm extremely tied to the US. I never had any issue at all.
Baruch Hashem.
Zero. And I'm being really proud of being Mexican, really proud of being Jew, and very proud of being a US. This is luck.
That's where you don't get to choose. I like that. Thank
You
you.
cannot choose that.
Right. Thank you so very much. I appreciate this. Everyone on here I know appreciates this. I'm getting a lot of private thank yous that I'll try to forward to you later.
No problem. Thank you, all of you, Rob. Thank you, Rob, and God bless all of you.
Thank you. And again, anyone on here, please do feel free to stay on and schmooze. On Wednesday, we have the Chief Investment Officer of Harmony Asset Management is going to talk about the stock market. So please do join us on Wednesday. Again, thank you, Ariel. You're welcome to stay and schmooze, but I know that you have family with you. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Rob, and we'll keep in touch.
Thank you. Yes, take care. Mucho gusto.